Hey everyone, Hannah here, and today I want to talk about productivity. I'm somebody who personally struggles with productivity and procrastination on an almost daily basis, and so I figured I would share some of my tips and tricks that help me to become a more productive person and to get more things done in my life. I hope these tips can inspire you to change up your workflow a little bit to hopefully be a little bit more productive. Possibly the most important thing I did to help increase my productivity level was getting a daily planner. Now, this is something that I've actually done many times before, but it just happened not to stick. And so this time I didn't have too high hopes for it, but it ended up working out pretty well for me. Now, this planner I got is divided into separate sections so you can see your tasks for the day, and you can even plan out like hour by hour how you want your day to be, which is what my initial aspirations were to be to use the journal for, was to just add my daily schedule in there and try to follow it as close as I could. However, I quickly realized that being so ambitious was not going to work for me. I'm somebody that can't go from 0 to 100 immediately, and so I was beginning to brainstorm ways that I could still use the planners, that way I didn't create waste from buying it and not using it at all, but take it a little bit slower and an approach that would work a little bit better for me. So that's when I started focusing on the very top portion of each day, which is just simply listing the tasks that you need to get done for that day. I felt that this would be something a little bit more manageable than planning out my daily routine, because I felt like I would be able to tackle a few separate tasks and be able to do them on my own time and be able to still have the freedom of having a free-flowing lifestyle, but still realizing at the beginning and end of the day what tasks I wanted to do and what tasks I didn't complete or did complete throughout the day. I quickly found that by listing the tasks that I had the most trouble with completing, I was able to have a lot more success at getting them done. Something as simple as cleaning the cat litter box would often be a struggle for me because I would just be so lazy and unmotivated to be able to do anything around the house. But when I added those tasks that I had to do to my daily planner, so that way when I looked at it in the morning and I organized what tasks I wanted to do, I found that I was much more likely to complete the task. And so some days I only put one task on, some days I fill it with 3, sometimes I try to be a little aspirational and put 4 or 5 on there, but that never really ends up working out for me. And I found that a good balance for me is just listing the few things each day that are going to be most important to me to get done that day, and I often find I will have good success with it as long as I am able to think about the tasks that I need to get done in the morning before starting off with the chaos of the day. I wanted to briefly touch on failure in regards to upping your productivity level. I initially got very upset with myself when I wouldn't complete a certain task that I had on my list for that day, or when I would skip the day entirely. But I realized that beating yourself up is never good, and each day can be another step towards meeting your own personal goals, whatever those may be. I've said it before here on this channel, and it's sort of become a mantra for me in my entire life, and that is focusing on the future and in the present rather than focusing on the past. I find that when I dwell on the days that I didn't get so much done in terms of productivity, that I would never get anything done that day because I would feel so bad about being so unproductive that it would kind of snowball and I wouldn't be able to get anything done the next day. So just don't be so hard on yourself. Next, I wanted to talk about something that may not be in the front of your mind in regards to productivity, and that's the clothes you are wearing. I am somebody who has a set wardrobe that I like to wear when I'm going out and when I'm going to be seeing people, and I put those clothes on when I want to make a good impression or when I just want to feel good and appear good to the outside world. But I also have clothes that I designate as my lounging clothes, and those clothes are a lot more comfortable, but obviously, they have holes or stains or what have you. And I would find that when I would wear my comfortable clothes, I would be a lot less productive on that day than when I would switch into something that I would wear like this, that I would wear out that would make me feel good. I find that I'm a lot more productive when I'm wearing something that empowers me and makes me feel like I can be productive and awesome the way that I know I can be. So, as crazy as it sounds, I recommend getting dressed up to do absolutely nothing other than the chores around your house. I really find that this has been a positive change to my productivity, and I can't recommend it highly enough. I think that sometimes people get too focused on being comfortable when they are home and forget about how the things that they are wearing are actually making them feel. Next, I wanted to talk about using music to help with productivity. I am somebody that loves to listen to music 24/7, and that I find when I am not listening to music and when I'm trying to get menial tasks done around the house, I find that I cannot get them done as efficiently or sometimes at all if I don't have the music there to help. This is because I'm somebody who's able to concentrate so much harder on the task at hand when I have some sort of noise to be able to block out everything that's outside of the immediate task that I'm concerned about. And for me, music does that very well. I know a lot of people will recommend throwing on classical music because it can often not be very distracting and just can be nice and easy going. But personally, I just throw my entire Spotify collection on shuffle and just kind of rock out and sing to every song that comes on. And I feel like that allows me to completely de-stress. And even though I'm doing a chore that I would feel is completely ridiculous and why do I have to do this, I find that I'm able to get it done because I'm listening to some of my favorite music and I'm enjoying the moment, even though the moment was horrible when I wasn't listening to music. I highly suggest using music as a way to boost your own concentration. I have very fond memories when I was in school of being able to listen to music when I was taking an exam and being able to finish the exam so much faster than when I was listening to absolutely nothing and sitting there in complete silence. I find that personally my brain doesn't do very well when it's left to its own devices and it's sitting there in silence. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who could benefit from having something in the background to help them concentrate. Now, if music doesn't work perfectly for you, you can try using a podcast or an audiobook or something. Personally, those don't work for me because I find that there is just way too much going on to be able to be productive in whatever task that I am doing. But there are other people that I know, and my fiance Sage is one of them. It's crazy how they can multitask so well that when they're listening to a book or podcast and kind of absorbing all this new information, they can still concentrate on the new task at hand, and it even propels them to be faster than they were before. So I encourage you to get out there and figure out what auditory cue works best for you in order to make you more productive. Next, I wanted to talk about how important sleep is in regards to productivity. I am personally somebody who can often have an erratic sleep schedule, and I struggle with insomnia, so oftentimes that can mess up my sleep schedule even more, even when I'm trying to be good about it. I have definitely noticed that when I do not get the proper sleep the night before, I can often be so groggy that I'm just not productive at all the next day. On the other hand, on days when I wake up off of a fresh, full night's sleep, I find I am often a lot more productive in tasks, especially tasks that I'm completely dreading doing the night before. Even that extra half hour added onto your sleep schedule may not seem like much to begin with, but you'd be surprised at how much that can help your well-being in all sorts of ways, and one of those ways it could definitely help is in regards to your productivity. Lastly, I wanted to touch on the idea of putting yourself first. I find that this is extremely important, and I think that we can often get wrapped up in our lives and we can feel like we need to kind of min-max every single part of our lives and create this kind of perfect being that does everything exactly the way they are supposed to do, but that's often not very realistic. Productivity is such an individual thing, and I feel like if you are very happy with the way you are productive currently, I don't think you should pursue to change it. But if you feel like you could make your life better by adding some strategies to your productivity workflow that might help you out, that's always worth a try. But if what you're currently doing in regards to your own productivity is making you happy, then I say stick with it. Because after all, happiness is the ultimate goal of life. And if you're truly happy, what more do you have to improve on? Well, that's all I have to say today on the subject of productivity. I hope that this video has made you challenge your own perceptions of productivity and think about your own workflow and see if there are ways you can adapt and possibly be able to become a little bit more productive day to day. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you disliked this video, go ahead and give it a dislike. And if you want to share this on social media so that way my video can spread to more people, that would truly be amazing and it would do a lot to help me. And as always, if you want to see more content from me in the future, consider subscribing so that way you can see those videos come up right in your subscription box every time I post one. Thank you so much for watching and stay safe out there.